Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gail, and today I wanted to talk about different types of illnesses. We're going to discuss the difference between energetic illnesses and physical illnesses, and what is driving these and what is the difference. There's a huge distinction between the two, and really how you would treat and heal these are going to vary widely. Both can be healed by traditional healing methods, energy healing. Modern medicine doesn't treat one of these very well, and this is where energy medicine really comes in. But first, let's talk about the two types. So we have energetic driven illnesses, and then we have what would be your typical physical illnesses. And let's start with physical illnesses because that one's a little bit easier to break down. And these are things that, usually you can pinpoint the source right away. Okay, I fell down, I broke my leg. Okay, great. I allowed myself to get sunburnt many times, and now I have skin cancer. I had an infection or a cut on my hand, for example, and now I have gangrene. Very easy. Maybe someone is getting older and they're starting to, have age-related issues like Alzheimer's. These are all what I consider to be your typical physical ailments. You can very easily pinpoint these. These are things you would traditionally go to a doctor for to be treated, or you would go through, imaging or different types of things to have these diagnosed. Again, these can be healed energetically. Sometimes people don't respond to, certain treatments. I know for me personally, I had this bacterial overgrowth one time in my GI system, and I was like dropping weight like rapidly, and the doctors put me on antibiotic after antibiotic after antibiotic, ones that were so expensive I ended up having to get them from Canada because they were several $1,000s here, all to come to find out they didn't treat the illness at all. I ended up having to use energy medicine to treat it after all was said and done. So sometimes the body just doesn't respond to that type of treatment, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's where, I think energy medicine is becoming more and more important, because not everybody can spend thousands of dollars on an antibiotic, let alone one that doesn't work. So what's the point? I treated myself for free and it was like, great, why did I spend all that money on all those antibiotics to get nowhere? But that's an example of something that I have dealt with physically that finally just had to say, nope, that doesn't work. I need to turn to energy medicine to heal that, because I'm different. My body definitely does not like modern medicine at all. I've actually given up on doctors, and I'm like, not happening anymore. But it is an option for everyone. Now, energetic illnesses, these are far more complex, and often, it's been my experience, at least for me 100%, and for a lot of people I know, that when you are dealing with an energetic-based illness, rarely does modern medicine help. And that's because the illness is energetically driven. And so what do I mean by that? Everything is energy. Your body is energy. You are feeding off and storing energy within your body. So for instance, if you're going through something mentally, depression, anxiety, you're constantly worrying, you're constantly in your head. If you're going through something energetically, maybe you've got some pattern in your life that keeps repeating itself. There's this core lesson that your soul needs to learn, or that you need to learn as a person, and you just keep putting yourself through the same thing over and over again. You can start to store this in your body. Any kind of imbalances, trauma, all these types of things can manifest in the physical body. Stress, low self-esteem, trying to constantly control everything. Type A control freak right here. I had to learn to get over that really fast, because I was having so many energetic illnesses due to some of these types of things. And again, these will store in the body, and they will start to manifest as physical symptoms. One way you can kind of tell, that you're going through kind of an energetic type of illness or disease is starting to manifest based on something that you're going through. Usually, either a medical doctor can't diagnose what's wrong with you. They will run test after test after test. You have physical symptoms. You're sick. You're not making this up. But yet the doctors are like, I don't know. Another is that they give you a diagnosis, but then they put you on medication, they, put you on this and that, they give you physical therapy, whatever the case may be, but it doesn't help. So that's one way to tell. Some other examples are, like, for instance, you're in pain. You have physical pain. Again, you're not making this up. You know your body is in pain, but there's been no injury. You can't look back and say, oh yeah, I fell or I picked something up and this is why I have pain. Another example would be chronic headaches. A lot of people have chronic headaches, but you may go to a neurologist, they're going to run some scans, but they can't find anything wrong with you. There's just nothing there. Another example is, for instance, you're having like heart palpitations, maybe your heartbeat is off, go to the doctor, they do an EKG, everything looks fine, but you can physically sense it in your body. They may even put you up to the little machine and it shows your heart rate is elevated, but there's no true underlying cause. It's not like you're having a heart attack, you're not having a stroke, you're not having anything like this. Another one, this one drives me insane, but this is really common and I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with this, is something is wrong with you and the doctor acknowledges that something is wrong with you, but because they can't pinpoint exactly what it is, they say you have an autoimmune disease. And I feel like that's become kind of like a catch-all lately. It's like, well, we don't know what this is, so we're just going to call it an autoimmune disease. To me, that's like it. To me personally, I feel like that's a cop-out. But again, you're looking at somebody here, talking to somebody here who has just said on modern medicine. I mean, it has done nothing but fail me over and over and over again. For me, it's a little bit different. I'm at a higher vibration. I am a higher dimensional being, and so, I mean, I've always kind of like known and had that feeling like, okay, this type of medicine, like, why are we cutting people open? Why are we doing things like this? Like, it's just never felt right to me. Why are we taking pills? None of it's ever felt right to me, and I had to learn the hard way that it doesn't work for me. And so if you're finding that it's failing you, really take a look at these two sides of illness, because and oftentimes I think a lot of people are experiencing energetic illnesses. There's so much stress, we carry so many things, we're evolving constantly, there's so much going on around us. Pollutants, don't get me started on that one. That's a big one for me. If you're interested in hearing more about that, either in the air and our food and how that affects your system, let me know, because I have struggled with that big time. I have to be very, very careful about what I eat. So if you're interested in hearing more on that topic and how that affects you energetically, let me know down in the comments and I can do a video about that. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing, due to the things that we experience, what starts to manifest in the body physically. And so the big thing is when you're trying to heal these two sides, I think energy medicine is really going to start to really take off and become more mainstream, because I think people are going to start getting frustrated with, cost of doctors and insurance not covering things. And, people like me, I've had some people tell me that you charge less than a copay in some cases. And it's like, yeah, and I can solve the problem pretty quickly. So I think the energy medicine is really going to start to take off. But I think it's important for you to use your intuition and really, if you're experiencing something chronic and really going through something like this, really step back and go, what is really going on here? I've had this problem for a while. I can't seem to solve it. Is it an energetic problem or is it physical? And if it is energetic, you really have to get to the core of it, because sometimes again, stress and things that you're experiencing in your life will cause you to be sick. I mean, I went through it for years. My doctors thought I was basically dying. I mean, I was losing weight, wasting away to nothing, and they ran every test known to man on me. I was so ill. I was blacking out. I was a mess. I mean, I was a total mess. And the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with me. And finally I was like, okay, I need to take matters into my own hands. And so I had to really sit and reflect and think about these things that, I've described here in this video. What was I really experiencing? What was going on? And at the time, I had an incredibly stressful job, a job where I was being bullied daily, I was being put down daily, and I'm an empath. I am super sensitive, and so these things were just basically making my body fall apart. I mean, I had so many not major illnesses, but things that were just causing me a lot of problems. And when I stepped back and said, wait a minute, what's really going on here. Put the doctors aside, put these medications aside, and really look at the issue and what's going on and what's causing this. And, not that I'm advising anybody to do this, but it was interesting because when I finally took a step back and said, I'm quitting my job, I was well within a month. Within a month, I started putting weight back on and started feeling better. And so I knew at that point that the stress was getting to me much more than I thought it was. And so things quickly started to resolve themselves. So again, I'm not saying quit your jobs, but I'm just saying, as an example, really look at what is going on with you, because just because you're sick doesn't mean that it's, some kind of just, typical disease. I mean, again, energy does manifest as disease, but unless you're really looking at that core issue, you can cram as many pills as you want down your throat, you can go to as many doctor's appointments as you want, but until that core issue is dealt with, this is just going to kind of be an ongoing issue for you. So I hope you enjoyed this information and hope it makes sense. If you have any questions, definitely drop them in the comment box. If you'd like more information on this, definitely let me know. Hope you guys are all well out there, and I'll see you soon.